Well, hi everybody. It's Sunday, so it's time for Southern Comfort Ramblings, and today we're going to be making a corn crab and potato chowder. We've got a ton of ingredients this time. But because there's a ton of ingredients, don't worry. So we're going to start with the ingredients. The very first ingredients, of course, if you know me, the first ingredient is bacon. Bacon, 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 bacon. 2 boxes of bacon. Only one of these, and we're going to be cutting them up very small. We're not going to fry it. We're going to bake the bacon so that we render out a lot of the fat, and we're just using the flavor and the meat of it. The next ingredient is going to be celery. Now, I cheated. I got the pre-cut celery that's in the store, pretty cheap, and there was no waste. We also have peppers, and I like color. So if you know me, you use jalapeno peppers. So we got the 2 peppers. They're very tiny, so don't worry about spice. They're just there for spice. The next one is going to be Swanson's chicken broth. Now, these are the 48 ounces. I usually use the 32, but I'm making a little extra today because I want to give some to my friends across the street, the Wilsons. You're going to need 2 of these. 48 ounce. Please use Swanson chicken broth full fat. Don't use the low sodium. It just doesn't make it taste right. We've tried it all. You're going to do 6 tablespoons of flour. I happen to use the wheat flour, but you can use all-purpose flour, and all-purpose probably works a little bit better. Frozen white corn. This was the only one I could find in our store. White corn is really hard to find. But 1 to 2 bags, kind of you have to look at it as it's going, but at least start off with 1 bag of frozen corn. Then we're going to go to the crab. I'm going to use 1 large packet of imitation crab flakes, and we're going to bust them down to little flakes and little strings. The other thing I use is 3 cans of chicken of the sea, white crab meat, and we'll open these cans up and we'll drain them out really well. And the other ingredient with the crab that I use is the lump crab in a little plastic thing. But you can also substitute this. This gets a little expensive. It's the good crab. Once again, go for the 2 cans of Starkist or whatever brand you want that is the crab meat in it. The instant mashed potatoes, we are going to be using this to thicken up the chowder, and the 2 packets are not always going to be enough. So depending on how thick you want your chowder, this is the secret, not the flour. After the crab, we're also going to put some buttermilk in. We also are going to use 1.5 little things of whipping cream. And once again, using the store brand. Please have at least a gallon of milk. We're going to do our salt and pepper. We're going to do some cilantro. You're also going to get 2 packages of instant potatoes. I don't care what kind you get. Bill happens to like the deluxe baked one. I like the loaded potato. Both are different brands. So it doesn't really matter as long as you have 2 packages of them. We're going to do a bag of red potatoes. There's a 3-pound bag. 2 packets of finely shredded cheddar and mozzarella. And we're going to mix these up, and half of it is going to go into the chowder to give it a good cheesy taste. And the other half is going to be used on top along with the bacon as a topper to the chowder. So that's all the ingredients. I think that's half the show. But we're going to come back. Oh, and the most important ingredient right behind me, the crock pot. You can also do this on the stove, but you're going to have to watch it a lot more carefully, and you're going to have to stir it a lot more often. All right, so what you're going to be doing, the first step is to boil the potatoes. You're going to have the water on, which is boiling back there. And this is just to irritate my neighbor because she always says I use the wrong knife. So I'm going to continue to use the wrong knife. Look, it's a big knife, Erica. So what you're going to do is you're going to actually just chop down the potatoes into small wedges. I've already done the entire bag, and we're going to do that, and we're going to throw them into the pot of boiling water. You're going to let them soften up. You're not going to make them all mushy. It's going to be a soft boil, just so that when you put it into the crock pot and it's ready toward the end, the potatoes aren't real crunchy. Make sure you test them out as you're going along. It was, we lined a cookie sheet. I put one of my baking racks in there so that the fat and the grease rendered downward. And we're going to put this in the oven at 425 until it's just about done. Step is we're going to take the chicken broth and we're going to put it in a big bowl. So you're going to drain 2 of these in there. You're going to take your flour, which is 6 tablespoons. Adjust as you need it depending on the amount you're making. All right, next we're going to take the corn and we're just going to put it right in there. And as you see, I've already brought the crock pot out because I'm starting to warm that all up inside. All right, now we're ready to put everything together. I have chopped up everything. We have the bacon that we put in the oven a little bit ago. I've taken it, I've chopped it up in small pieces. Flavor, we're going to put it in that broth. And in anticipation of knowing that I'm making a lot of extra, I've already started a pot behind me. So these are the peppers, and I'm going to take about half of that, and the other half I'm going to put in the pot that I have on the stove. This is the beautiful cilantro. Again, I'm going to take about half of that and put it in there. The celery, I've already put half in there. This is the chopped celery. I'm going to put the 1 packet of the potatoes in. We're going to put the potatoes in. Now, once again, I have already halved this recipe, so this is the half of the potatoes that I didn't put in the main one. And here is our crab meat. This is the mixture of the canned, the imitation, and the plastic container one. Now, please keep in mind that when you're doing the canned crab, it does have a piece of wax paper in the can. Make sure you pull that out. So we're going to put half of the crab mixture in there. Let me move the camera over, I apologize. So we're going to put half the crab in here. All right, I'm going to give that a good stir to get those mashed potatoes going. And you can see all the different colors in there. They're all working really well. You're going to put some pepper. Now, I use my hand just to kind of measure it out. And it's going to be 1.5 teaspoons. And I can always measure it out, but you can do it to taste. Salt's going to be about 1 teaspoon. Same thing. I kind of know what it is. You can play with the recipe as you go and figure out, because as you go and you're cooking it, you're going to say it needs more pepper, needs more salt. It's a, it's a you thing. So as you can see, the thing's getting full. We're going to put in about 1/4 quart container of the buttermilk. We're going to put in 1 pint, or a little less than 1 pint, actually, because of the half that we put over there. I'm going to give it a good stir. And as you can see, it's starting to get that creamy look about it. Just keep giving it a good stir. And now you're going to take that cheese, and I have mixed it up. I've got the cheddar and the mozzarella. And you're going to use just 1 good handful of it, and you're going to spread that in there. That's going to give you a good dairy taste. Let me put a little bit more in. Have like about 1/2 bowl left, and that's what we're going to use to top it with later. So you're going to also give that a good stir, and this will also thicken it up. You're going to, on your crock pot, you're going to have it on high for about 6 hours. and it's going to cook down as you're cooking. If you want it thin, leave it this way. Otherwise, you can add some more of your instant flakes. When you add the instant flakes, only add about a 1/4 cup at a time. Stir it, see how it is. You add milk if it's too thick, just regular milk, the whole milk. You may have to transfer this over to a pot like I'm doing over here in my back. I've already got one started back here for the excess, and you will have excess. It's just the way the recipe is as you're playing with it. We usually end up with a full crock pot and an almost full pot back there. So that's what we do to prep it. As I said, you're going to put this on high, you're going to put the lid on it and check it every 20-30 minutes. Give it a good stir and check on the thickness. If it's, once again, too thick, if it's too thin, take my advice and just use the milk and the potatoes until you get it just the way you want it. Also, you may want to add more pepper or salt depending on your taste and your health. Added all the ingredients in. We're giving it a good stir. You can add your salt and pepper as you're going. It's going to thicken up a little bit. This one's a little thin right now. As you can see, it's just a little too soupy. So what we're going to do is we're going to add some potato flakes. And you do about a 1/4 cup at a time. You can do it by sight. You can measure it, whatever you decide you would like to do. And as it heats up, it will get thickened, and if you happen to put too much in, that's all right. Just add some milk and it thins right back out. But you're going to put this once again on high and cook it in, and just keep an eye on it, keep stirring it, and keep messing with it. You'll get it. So we're back, and it's been about 2 hours, and the chowder is looking fantastic. We've been really playing with the recipe, as I told you we would be. I ended up using the entire box of the instant mashed potatoes. And the reason is that pot behind me, it's full. I ended up adding more milk and more of the mashed potatoes, and it chunked it up a little bit, made it a little bit thicker, and did a little bit over here too. So we have basically doubled the recipe. The only thing we doubled was the milk, the instant potatoes, and we added some more corn. The crab was plenty, the peppers were plenty, everything else was plenty. And we ended up making 2. So that could be frozen. I'm going to be giving it away to my neighbor who loves the chowder, as well as another neighbor who also likes it, and it's just a free-for-all around here. I loved, as I said, to make food for everybody, so... But this is what it looks like. Total time, we started around 1:30, almost 2 o'clock, and currently it's 5:30, and that was with all the prep time and all the cutting and putting it together. And it's just looking really nice and thick. It's looking very chowdery. It's looking very colorful. It's got the peppers in it. It's got, we put more bacon in there. Not any more than I told you. We will be coming back in about 2 hours. We've got the toppings for the chowder. We've got the cheese in the refrigerator, and we're going to be ready to go. So we'll see you back in maybe an hour and a half or so. We're finally at the end of the chowder, and it looks fantastic. It's nice and thick. It's very colorful, and it wasn't all that hard to make. And the final one is right over here, and there it is. Of course, Bill likes his with the saltine oyster crackers, and I'm a plain girl. So that was our corn and potato and crab chowder, and I hope you enjoyed making it. Thank you very much for joining me again this week. Remember to please subscribe button, also like with your friends on your Facebook, on your Twitter, on your Google+, and we will see you sometime this week with the tip of the day. Bye, y'all.